What's up, rap stars? It's Romeo Santos, your host of the Rap Show. Kenny Fulton is on vacation in sunny Hawaii, so I have my business partner in another business venture called Red Anchor Renovations, Tom Hanna, here with us. And today we have something really, really exciting that we're going to be talking to you guys about. We're going to be talking about alternative ways of finding properties, things that we're doing in real life in our business to help buyers find properties in this market, and also to help sellers who are fearful of not knowing where to go be able to sell their house and capitalize on this hot market. So Tom, welcome. How you doing, my man?
Doing well, my friend. How are you?
I appreciate you standing in for Kenny. You got some big shoes to fill, and I know you're going to do it amazingly. So listen, I want us to be able to share today with everybody that's listening some of the things that we have been collaborating on, that we've started to do, that as a matter of fact, we're doing for you personally, with your own residence, for you and your wife. And that is the renovation loan. Why don't you tell the guests a little bit about it from the contractor side and also from the consumer side, how that feels and kind of what the experience has been so far?
Of course. So there's a few different types of loans you can get. The one that I got was a federal loan. It's called 203K. There's two different ones. There's a streamline and then the full. I might be getting those names a little bit off. But anyway, one is up to 30K, and then one is 30K to basically a set limit for that area determined by HUD.
Yeah.
So what I was able to do was buy a house for about 275, and we got a 203K loan for about 140 that we were able to gut the entire house, completely redo, and kind of make it our own in downtown Annapolis. Now, this house would not have been a house that I could have bought, or we could not have lived in downtown Annapolis if it weren't for doing this. Right. This was a house that was nearly uninhabitable, and it needed every cent of that 140 to go into it.
And maybe some more.
And maybe some more, exactly. Yep. But yeah, this is a great way to access money. And the great thing is I only had to put 3.5% down. So in my generation, and the ones to follow me are the generation with the highest debt. So in seeing that, this is a great way to kind of access cash, create equity. I'll have about $125,000 to $150,000 in equity after we're done, and also, live in their dream home.
All right. So Tom, listen, why don't you walk us through, since you're going through this personally, from the perspective of a consumer, and then maybe even a little bit on the general contractor side, since we're in that business together.
Absolutely. So my wife and I were able to buy a house in downtown Annapolis, shockingly, for about 275,000, and we're able to do a 203K loan. Yeah, definitely. And we were able to get a 203K loan, a full 203K for about 141,000. That would complete the entire project. Now, without this, there'd be no way that I could live in downtown Annapolis. The house that we bought was pretty much uninhabitable. So this was a really cool way for me to live where we wanted to live, my wife and I. Also access capital, or access a lot of cash for very little down. As you know, our generation coming out of college is the most indebted generation there is. So this FHA loan that I was able to get was only 3.5% down, which is phenomenal in the scheme of things for getting a almost $425,000 loan. And then also I'm able to create equity. So after we're finished, we're nearly halfway done. After we're finished, we'll have somewhere in the neighborhood of $125,000 to $150,000 in equity. So this is really a way for the younger generation, or frankly anybody, to find something that needs a little bit of work. Do the extra legwork. It is not an easy process. It's going to be a 45 to 60 day close for you. It's not easy. A lot of documentation, because you're not just going to the bank, you're also going to the government program as well. So both programs require, a ton of documentation. But if you put in the work, you bide your time, and you find the right contractor, you can walk away with a dream home and a dream place with a lot of equity in it.
Absolutely. All right. So agents out there listening and consumers out there listening, what we at Red Acre Properties on the real estate side of the business here, what we discovered is that, okay, there's just an incredible shortage of inventory. Nobody can find a house. And if they do find a house, they're overpaying above the market. They're pushing the market higher and higher. And so we said that we've got some synergies here. We have a couple businesses. How can we help people? Now, we didn't create this as a theme, right? Like we didn't go out and create this loan program. This loan program was there. And just so everybody's aware, so there's a 203K, there's a 203K streamline. The difference between those two is that the 203 streamline is for a smaller renovation, like carpet paint, maybe some countertops, that sort of thing. It's about $30,000 that you can borrow. And then the 203K full is a much higher amount. And those limits are set based on the area. But of course, as Tom said, he got $140,000. So just to give you an idea, more than 50% of what he paid for the house itself.
Yeah, to put it in perspective, I
Yeah.
think in our area in Anne Arundel County, I think the cap for the HUD program is about $600,000.
Right. It's big. Yeah, it's big. It's big. And so, you know, there's also a conventional product. It's called the home style, right? Which is basically the same thing, but it's on the conventional side. People will argue what's better or not. Obviously, you want to talk to a lending professional and figure that out. So what we decided to do is, hey, why don't we start finding the house that's the dog, the house that's been on the market for more than 30 days, and we match make with the right consumer that's willing to, like you and your wife are willing to, you know, go through the time and go through the steps and work with the contractor and go through the plans. But at the end of it, you find yourself with not only the house that you want and not only below what the market is bearing right now, but in your case, after the appraisal, because they do it after completed appraised value, you're going to have over $100,000 in equity coming out of the gate, and everybody else right now that's buying is paying over and above. They're already in the hole. So it's an incredible opportunity for people to go out there and do that. Now, talk about it a little bit from the construction side. Like, what are some of the keys if people decide they want to go through this and try this? What are some of the things that they should be looking for in a contractor?
The number one thing, guys, to do is find the contractor first, or find 2 or 3 of them, and make sure they can get you guys an estimate within, 2 to 4, maybe 5 days. Again, this process, it's going to take 45 to 60 days. We had to delay a full 30 days, and we close on the 60th day by just a hair.
Right.
So find them, make sure they're able to get back that estimate quickly. And also make sure that they work with 2 or 3K loans. I'd say about 85 or 90% of contractors do not. We do. We feel that we're providing, a large service to our customers from both sides, and it's something that we want to grow with you as you grow into your home. But yeah, from a contracting perspective, find through about 2 or 3 contractors, get them to bid it out quickly, and then get that offer with the bids submitted as soon as possible. That's the biggest thing. From a contracting perspective, once you guys sign, you get what is called a HUD consultant, at least for the 2 or 3K side. And then you will get some sort of consultant through the bank as well for home style. I believe there is something in there. And what they do is basically they're a additional layer of protection for you. They come out. So after we're doing one in Hillsmere where, after each stage of the project, we have to call this guy, and it's a little create some delays for us, but it really protects the consumer. But we call the inspector, he comes out, he looks it over. Okay, this looks good. And then we can ask for our next draw before we go further. That way you're not out, 50, 60, or in my case, 140,000, and the project's not done. And the contractor is held to those standards in those agreements that are agreed upon at the very beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. And a couple other things that I think are important to note that Tom didn't touch on. If you talk to a lender, they're going to tell you, if you can get a contractor that actually understands tech and is able to complete online forms and or fillable PDFs. I know with contracting, it's got nothing to do with whether or not they're a good builder, but it is going to be huge for you going through the process if you have somebody that has either a staff or them themselves that understand how to do that, because time is of the essence. Those things need to get done. They need to be able to follow directions. They need to be able to turn things in quickly. And also they need to be able to work in those constraints, because a lot of times contractors, they just kind of like to, fly by the seat of their pants. And that's not the contractor you want for one of these situations. It won't work for you.
It won't work. Yeah, because a lot of times they are not getting a lot of money up front. So if that is the type of contractor you are looking for, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. This is a case for sure where you will get what you pay for. So be careful while you're out there. So, a good strategy, everybody that's listening, like if you can't find a house, ask your agent or contact us and say, help us find a house. let us help you run the bid or connect you with a contractor in your area. You may not be listening to it in Maryland, DC, or Virginia where we operate. That's totally fine. We're happy to connect you with people as well. Now, there's something else that we've started to do, which we think is a huge value add for people that are out there. This one almost may be bigger for the home seller that says, I want to sell my house and capitalize on all this equity, but I don't want to buy anything that I see on the market. And maybe they don't want to buy a 30-year-old house and then renovate it. Or in your case, Tom, over a 100-year-old house, right? And
120.
renovate it. Yeah. Now, when that happens, we also are licensed Maryland home builders. So we have started to go out and hunt for landowners that either have a desire to or have had a desire to sell a house. And then again, we can pair them with one of our clients, and then we can actually design and build a custom house for them. There are loans for those out there as well. They're called construction and perm loans, and we have all the contacts with the lenders that we need to make that happen. And now you can say, hey, here's what you're going to do, Tom. For example, you're Mr. Seller. Tom, Mr. Seller, you're going to sell your house now. You're going to capitalize on it, and you're going to get a 1-year lease somewhere while we identify the property, while we go through the permitting process, while we build your home. And at the end of it, you have your own home custom built for you, and you haven't missed out on this incredible market. Because the reality is we have no idea how long this is going to last. I mean, houses are selling for 5 to 10% over asking price. It, in my opinion, can't be sustainable for too much longer. But then again, you never know.
And the biggest thing for me about building your own house, guys, equity. You're walking away with equity in it. So,
Equity.
Yep.
100%. 100%. So here's something that I just did to myself. And you guys may chuckle out there, especially anybody that's out there that's married. So there's a home near us in West Annapolis. So we're in Annapolis, Maryland, Hillsmere that he referenced earlier. This is all in the Annapolis area. Now we work DC, Baltimore, Annapolis, Anne Arundel County, Montgomery County, DC, and Northern Virginia. So I found this house in West Annapolis, which anybody that knows the area, it's a really, really nice area. And it's listed for $575, but we did some digging, we did some research, just like we've been doing for our clients. And I found that they paid $400,000 for this house. So I told my wife, I said, listen, if we could get this house for 500, we could actually tear it down. We could build our own house. Even if we put 350 or 400 into building a beautiful custom house, we would only be into it for a maximum of $900,000. And like you just said, Tom, equity, we could immediately turn around and sell it for 1.2 million if we wanted to.
Yep.
You cannot get that in today's market. Actually, in almost any market, you're not going to get that and have a finished product. So definitely some really, really good options. We're seeing the writing on the wall that more and more people are going to be able to capitalize on that equity and do so. There's a shortage of homes. Most people are tired of overpaying for houses that need a lot of work. And so we're starting to find a lot of success helping people with solutions, doing it this way. And we're poised, hopefully we feel at the forefront of this to make it happen for folks. So agents, if you want more information about this, you can reach out to us. And of course, consumers out there, if you want more information, you can reach out to either of us. So now in the building of a house or finding a lot, Tom, what are some of the things that people need to be aware of that are going to be important?
Patience. So this is, the biggest thing is it's a process, especially with building brand new. Additions are a little bit different. They're much quicker. A brand new house is going to be, it's going to be time consuming. But like Romeo said, it's going to be about a year process from beginning to end. Another thing too is limits in terms of setbacks, in terms of where you are, historical limits like downtown, there's, might be a lot or two, but you're not going to be able to build what you want to build in, downtown areas such as Alexandria or Annapolis or, many of these areas around the DC, Maryland area. And then I guess the only other thing would be to really, get an idea of what you want before going into it. Any issues you guys have or any back and forth between design styles or what you're looking for is only going to further delay it. So know what you want going into it. Find a contractor that can build that you've seen his work or her work that can build the type of home that you want, and then put the foot on the pedal and go.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I mean, people may not think about this, but it's not as simple as saying, oh, there's a piece of land over there. I'm going to buy it and I'm going to build. there's a process that you have to go through to make sure that it's even going to be feasible. It's called the feasibility study, actually, that you can either get public utilities to it. So public utilities, of course, being power, sewer lines, water lines, or if you can't get sewer and water, you almost always can get power. You will most likely need to do a well and a septic. Well, a well and a septic, there are only certain times throughout the year called wet seasons when you can actually do what's called a perk test to see if the land will perk, so that you can actually put a septic. And also they have to drill and see if they can get a well with the proper amount of yield, meaning the amount of flow that well water can yield with a pump, and for how long. So there are a couple pieces in there that are really, really important. So we don't want to make this sound like it's super simple. You can just find a lot on Zillow. Please don't use Zillow, by the way. And then call us and say, hey, I found a lot and I just bought it, build us a house. No, there's a big process to it. So make sure that you've got a team that's going to help you navigate that. Otherwise, you could find yourself with a useless piece of raw land. And if you're buying the lot for 40K in this area, it's probably not buildable. And that's why it's listed for 40K.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Awesome.
So just one more thought too, just as you're kind of looking for new home builds, typically renovations are going to be in the neighborhood of anywhere from $100 to $120, $130 a square foot. New builds will be a little bit more expensive, obviously. They'll typically range anywhere from 140 to 170, 180, and then even higher for your, extremely custom built, fine finishes type houses.
Right.
Just
Right.
something to think about.
Yeah, and that's a great point. People always ask, well, how come there's such a wide range in costs? And the reality is that, let's say, just because everybody probably knows the brand, let's call it Ryan Homes, right? Ryan Homes, they have, what's called a track house, a spec house. They're putting them up. It's, partly prefabbed. The finishes are pretty basic. There's nothing crazy about them. They're doing massive volume because they're probably building 100 houses on one. So they've got great value out of their contractors or their employees, whatever it may be. And so they're able to produce a product a lot less expensive than, let's say, if you find a lot and you want a custom home that's built, you have the design element, you have all of the permitting that you're going to absorb all those costs. And you're probably going to be requiring a lot nicer finishes. So you'll probably have more expensive wooden floors, and you'll probably want more detailed trim. And all those things actually take a more skilled carpenter or a more skilled trade person that we hire, that gives us the opportunity to produce the result that you want. And so that is all going to translate into a higher per dollar square foot cost for you as a consumer. So not to scare you off, you could certainly build for probably $125,000, but you may not be as happy as if you splurged to the 170. And at the end of the day, if you're building a 2,000 square foot house, yes, it's a difference, but it's not such a significant difference that it's going to probably break the bank.
Exactly. And you're still walking away with value, usually, in any type of market. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Anything that you think we're missing, anything else that we're doing that you think is important for the listeners to know about?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just going to touch it on one more time. It's just research. Talk to some lenders, guys. Talk to your friends. Talk to families that have done this before. Talk to us. Email us. We're always open. Or even Facebook us. We'll point you in the right direction if we can't answer it. And then research what you want. A lot of times, with us and builders and remodelers, we'll give you guys a budget of what to, basically, hey, your hardwood floors can be anywhere from $3 or under. That's included. But hey, if it's $2, you get the difference between the 2 and the 3. Go out there. Don't just go to Lowe's or Home Depot or a few of these expensive tile stores around your home. Actually, take some time, research, figure out where there's some good products for good pricing, and then talk to your contractor about it. Be like, hey, I found this for $2. Is this something you're able to use? And just things like that. A few extra hours here and there will save you guys a lot of money on the building side of it. A lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great point. So you have to have a team, right? So if we just want to recap that team structure of who you're going to need, I'd say first and foremost, you're probably going to want to speak to a real estate agent, a builder or a few builders, a lender, although the lender typically will come from the real estate agent because they've got relationships with lenders that can do those. Not all lenders are able to do these things. So don't walk into your Bank of America and say, hey, I want a construction or perm loan. They're going to look at you with a blank stare because they don't do those types of things. And even if they did, not to knock Bank of America because I got all my accounts there, but when it comes to lending, I wouldn't go there, folks. All right. You're going to want an architect. Now, architect's probably, again, you're going to come from your contractor. Typically, you're going to need those two pieces, your realtor and your contractor. Those two should be able to help you build out the rest of your team. You shouldn't then have to go out and source your own. And keep in mind, let's say you have your Uncle Larry, who's an architect in Chicago, and he's going to do the plans for you. Great. Uncle Larry's not here. He has no idea about the building codes here, about the permitting process. I'm sure you want to support Uncle Larry, and he probably wants to do it for you for free. But what you're going to lose in time and the cost of money in time, you're not going to make up in the cost there. So make sure that you're really listening to the pros that you put around you, because they're going to help to guide you, because everybody benefits from the process going more smoothly and happening more quickly. Yeah. All right, cool. Awesome. Well, listen, I think that's a lot of information. We're probably going to have a lot of people's heads spinning because they're going to be like, wow, I didn't even think that I could do any of those things. I didn't think it was accessible to me, but it's very accessible. Also, something to touch on, you know, you can do a 203K, guys, from something as simple as like, I'm buying an ugly house and I don't want to change anything, but I need all new carpet, paint, I need new flooring, I need new bathrooms, but I'm not changing anything else. You can also do a 203K and say, you know what, I really love the location, but the house is 1,000 square feet and I really need 2,500 square feet. You can do an addition with a 203K or a home style loan. So there are a lot of different things that you can do. You're not pigeonholed into any specific thing. So if you want more information, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Tom. You can reach me on Instagram at Romeo, Real Estate Romeo Santos. You can reach me on Facebook at Romeo Santos. Now, Romeo Santos, you're probably going to find the bachata singer who was from Aventura, and his name is actually Anthony Romeo Santos, but whatever, keep looking for me. You can find me more easily at Red Anchor Properties on both Facebook as well as Instagram. Tom, you'll be able to find at Red Anchor Renovations on Facebook, and also at Tom Hanna on Facebook. So you'll be able to find us anywhere. You can email me at romeo@the-racompanies.com, and you can reach Tom at the-racompanies.com. That's R as in Romeo and A as in Apple, companies.com, plural. Any other questions that you guys have, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're here to answer as many questions as possible, to be the #1 resource that we can possibly be for you, not only in real estate, although I know that's all we've been talking about, but also on the general contracting side. You know, the Red Anchor Companies does a lot of different things, and the goal behind that is to support that mission of being the #1 real estate resource of choice. Tom, anything else you want to add for our guests?
One last thing on the contracting side, guys, you can also do a 203K loan as a refinance too.
Yes, you can.
So if you realize like, hey, this market's just crazy, which most people are saying right now, this market's crazy, I just don't feel like spending $600,000 on a house that's only worth $550. You can actually take your existing home, refinance it, get the money out, and do a 203K through that, and build an addition or kind of remodel, open up the floor plan, kind of, you know, add value to your existing residence.
That's a great point. Thank you so much for not allowing us to forget that, because that is huge. And again, we want to be the #1 real estate resource. We're not trying to sell the most houses. So if selling your house or buying a house is not the key, that is a great option. That's actually what we're doing down in Hillsmere for that really nice family that is doing a 203K refinance. And we're going to be able to give them a lot more square footage and make the house a lot more usable for them. So this has been incredible. Tom, thank you so much for stepping in. You certainly filled Kenny's shoes. We really appreciate it. All you rap stars out there, if you have any questions, get in touch with us. Thank you so very much. This is Romeo Santos and Tom Hanna. This has been The R.A.P Show. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.